Good morning. Happy 31 days of the Great Reset. I am so happy to be closing out Ashley Black's The Great Reset. I'm Courtney Virden. I'm a pelvic floor expert, a fitness trainer, and a mom of two, and I love all things fascia blasting. I fell in love with Ashley's tools as soon as I was introduced to them several years ago. I had been exposed to so many different fascial modalities, and I love the fascia blasters. It was a way I was finally able to do my own fascia work from home. So I use them on myself every day. I use them on my kids. I use them on all of my clients, and we all love them and are completely obsessed. They're fantastic. I had a lot of shoulder pain, and it really helped me so greatly with that. Cellulite is something, no matter how big or small you are, it's a fascial problem, and it just is incredible for that. And really just, restoring fascial health and good movement in your body, and just for maintenance as well and prevention. So I'm going to talk first a little bit about some of my favorite detoxing. We're going to do a lower body blast together, and I really want to go over posture and good movement patterns and fascial in alignment with you as we do that, to really help educate you. So if there's anything going on with your body, you have a better understanding of why that might be happening and what we can do about it. And then we're going to finish with some fascial yoga. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to be moving back away from the camera a little bit as well. And I'll answer all questions later. So any question will absolutely be answered. So I love detoxing for different reasons. My favorite way to detox, if I'm just feeling like maybe it's been the holidays, I've been eating some food that's more inflammatory, is a bone broth detox. I have a holistic chiropractor here in Los Angeles that I adore, and that's his favorite way to detox too. And you'll drink a ton of water, and you'll have bone broth many times throughout the day. And I'll do beef bone broth, I'll do chicken. Drink a ton of water. You can't have caffeine, but you can have herbal tea. And you can do it for just even 1 to 2 days. 5 days would be the maximum he recommends for people, but that's really tough to do at first for most people. So even just a day or two is fantastic. And I will tell the women in here who menstruate that I do notice it's really tough to do it on your cycle. So if you're interested in doing a bone broth, I recommend it not when you're on your cycle. You might be different than me where it's fine for you, but I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. But it's great, men, women, anybody. You want to drink a ton of water. The first day, you might be feeling just a little bit hungry, drink a lot of water, and then you really get used to it after a day or two, but you feel so good, so much energy, and it really gives your digestive system a chance to relax. So I love that. Hi, Adriana. Hi, Shannon. Shannon was in our 90-day pelvic floor challenge, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Ashley and I had done together. And then when I don't feel like, I want a full detox, but I just really want to clean up my diet. And to me, a good diet is really nutritious food. I don't think there's an off-limit food unless you have a disease or an inflammatory condition. There's food I really like to minimize or omit because it's really inflammatory. It maybe has more GMOs or it's not good for your gut. But when I'm feeling like I just want to really tone into my nutrition, I have 2 things I really love. It's Whole30 or Autoimmune Protocol, especially if you have an autoimmune disease, if you're not familiar with it. Both of those, the Whole30 and Autoimmune Protocol, we've got 28-day meal plans in my app for it, and I know a ton about nutrition. I'm such a geek about all things health and body, but they're really great if you have an autoimmune condition. It can really help put it into remission. The Autoimmune Protocol, it's eliminating really inflammatory foods for most people, even if you don't have an autoimmune. I've done it even though I don't have autoimmune, and if you do have autoimmune, it's fantastic. And then there's a reintroduction phase. It's often called AIP. And then the Whole30 is more of a whole foods nutrition to eating. So just really nutritious, protein sourced very well, vegetables, fruit, healthy fats. It's really just chock full of nutrition. And that's why Those are things if I don't want like a full detox, but I just really want to be eating healthy, nutritious food, I'll really dive into that, method of eating. And I follow that template, the paleo and Whole30 mostly with my food, but the bone broth cleanse is fantastic. I've heard some other great suggestions throughout the reset, and it's so fun to hear, what everyone does for detoxing. So that is that. We're going to do lower body blasting today, and I want to talk to you as well about posture and alignment, and it has everything to do with fascia. So I love fascia. So obviously when I got Ashley's tools in my hands, I just fell in love. I'm such a geek about that. But because we're going to blast the low body, we did pelvic floor blasting in the 90-day pelvic floor challenge that Ashley and I did together. It was my app and exercises and all of the blasting in it. It was amazing. And I've added some foot exercises, and our feet really guide us throughout the day. So I'm going to turn the camera down just a little bit. I want to show everyone a little bit about posture so you have a good understanding. So a really good posture would be feet pointing straight ahead. When you look down, it looks like an 11. The knees lined up over the second toe, our hips neutral, so not tilted forward and back, a good lift in the torso and through the top of the head. But let's start down with the foot, and I'm just briefly going to go over this before we do the blast so you have a visual. A lot of people have more of a flattened foot or a collapsed arch. So you might have to take a screenshot and zoom in for this, but you can see when my foot is more of a collapsed arch, what happens is now my ankles are out of alignment, my knees cave in, my hips rotate. So now I'm in an anterior pelvic tilt where my low back is really tight. My lower abs are overstretched. There's not a lot going on there because they're not pulling in towards the spine. And often we'll also have more of a forward position in the upper body, rounded shoulders, more forward head jet. And really helping to restore the foot on up is very important. So fascia blasting is amazing for your feet, and we're going to start there. And foot exercises and full body and pelvic floor to restore alignment along with fascia blasting. So you can see here, if you have a flat foot, what happens to the whole body up above. And when we really correct and restore healthy fascia in the feet and mobility and the muscles of the foot, we can restore a nice healthy arch in the foot. And now, instead of everything caving in and out of alignment, my ankles are now in alignment, my knees, my hips can fall into place, my low back, and I can have a nice torso lift here. So it's such a difference here versus here. So as you can see, what happens here versus a nice alignment. So foot alignment is really, really important, everyone. So I am gonna wear bikini bottoms for this so you can see, and we're just gonna talk and blast together. So I love Ashley's oil. You definitely want to be, oh, that's the cream, sorry. The oil, you want a really good glide when you fascia blast. And if you're here, you've probably fascia blasted before. If you're new, you really just want a nice glide. Ashley makes great oils. You just want a good oil that's not gonna clog your pores because you want it to glide. So because we're gonna get a little greasy on the mat, I'll put down a towel. I sometimes also fascia blast in the shower. It's really easy and quick. We're gonna do a quick blast from our foot on up to our hips today on both sides. And when you do it at home, you can do it quick, or you could spend a lot more time blasting as well. It's really important when you blast to listen to your body. I go really light, brisk strokes. If you're new to it, go really, really light. You want to see how your body's going to respond. We're not trying to tear through our tissue. We're slowly working through the tissue layer by layer to help realignment. So when people have pain and restricted movement, that's typically from fascial adhesions or trauma, which creates fascial adhesions. So our fascia is supposed to really glide smoothly, so we have a lot of mobility and range of motion and flexibility. And through trauma, injury, repetitive movement, things like that, we'll get adhesions in the fascia so it doesn't glide and it gets sticky. And fascia blasting is great because it really helps realign the fascia and helps break up those adhesions. And that is why I love it so much, because all of the programs I have in my app, the pelvic floor restorative programs and the full body in the foot, they're all fascial based movement, but manual-fascial work is so important too. So it really goes hand in hand with what I do, which is why it was so awesome to team up with Ashley for the challenge. So we're gonna start. If you have a face blaster, that's what I use on my feet. Now, you might not have as many tools as I have, and if you have the bigger tool, you can use whatever tool you have, okay? I'm just gonna use some of the tools that I would use, and I'll show you, but you can use any tool. If you just have one, it's not a big deal if you don't have the other. So I like to start with a face blaster. I'm gonna do just really light along the top of my foot. And you have a lot of nerves there, so just go really light all along the side here. And again, remember, you want a lot of oil. I love here over by the ankle, so all along the ankle. And I'll just do strokes like this. I'll go under the foot a little bit. The plantar underneath the foot is a really thick fascial sheet. Think of like plantar fasciitis and a lot of problems that people have with the foot. Now, you can have it without wearing flip-flops and heels, but for the ladies, heels are horrible for your feet. Sorry to break it to you. I hardly wear them, maybe once a year, and it kills my feet. Also, flip-flops, things that you have to grip with the toes. It really tightens the muscles and fascia of the foot and the calves and all the way up. So I don't recommend that kind of footwear for your feet at all. So we're gonna go along the heels, and you just wanna do it light and brisk. If you have a big bruise, you're not gonna fascia blast over bruised skin. Now, anytime you get fascial work, whether it's fascia blasting or cupping or any kind of manual, it creates slight inflammation in your body, which brings in more blood flow to promote healing and realignment of the fascia. So sometimes people bruise at first from fascia blasting. You're not going to fascia blast over bruised skin. So you can move to a different area of your body if that happens. Take a slight break. I like to fascia blast every day or as close to every day as I can. You know, sometimes I will do a full body blast, foot on up through my head, take an hour. I'll like turn on the TV, put a towel down, and just go to town. It feels amazing. Other times it's, 2 minutes in the shower. So really listen to your body. Now, when you go with your feet, I really like getting from toe, like follow the toe all the way up. Our foot is supposed to be mobile and be able to move. A lot of people, it's really rigid. That fascia is really tight in the foot. And what a lot of people don't realize is your feet are guiding you every single day. So if you are, have poor foot health, it's not moving well, the tight fascia, the muscles are not, working well, it's going to affect everything on up. I've worked with so many people who have jaw problems from foot, and then pelvic floor problems from the foot, or vice versa, back problems, shoulder, things like that. So we're going to move on up to the calves. We're doing it faster than I would do on my own today. We're just follow along with me. We're going to switch to the big one after this. So I'll go up and down. I really like the front of the ankle. Along the bone, I don't really do right over the bone. I don't have any meat there. And you'll just go up and down, side to side. I will often switch to this guy. It's a little faster. And so you'll see me switching tools. If this is what you got, or you only have this one, you can use that one. This face blaster, I will use on my whole body. It has the small claws. And the Mini 2 has the larger claws. This gets a little bit more superficial fascia, and this can get a little bit deeper. So you'll go up and down and side to side. When you fascia blast, you're never going to do circles. We're just going to go up and down, side to side. The calves really impact the lower back a lot. So a really great place for people, besides the feet, is the back of the ankle here. And I'll just glide. I'll take the little fingers of the claws and go up and down on there, and it feels amazing. You can even just sometimes feel your neck relax from it. So we'll just do up and down, side to side. You might be like me and find that maybe one direction, oh, I feel that more. So when you fascia blast or work out, I really want you to listen to your body. I think, you know, kids listen to their bodies as we get older. We're told to clear our plates. We just stop listening to our body. It hurts, let's push it. And the more you listen to your body, the more aware you're going to be of it and what you need. You know, like, oh, this is tight today. It's normally like this. So really when you fascia blast, it's such a great time to learn about your body. You know, maybe you're not feeling this a lot, but maybe right here, you just, wow, that is really tender. And you might have a lot of fascial adhesions there and not realize it. So now we're going to move to the bigger claws. And sometimes certain places of the body, I will feel it more intensely with the smaller claws. And then other times I feel it a lot more with the bigger claws. It really just depends what's going on with you and to how long you've been blasting. When I had started blasting, especially my cellulite, so good for that, I had so many bruises. So I had to take a little break for several days. Wasn't like super bad. I'm not a big bruiser, but really it goes away. As the fascia becomes healthier and you get used to fascia blasting, I don't get bruises when I fascia blast at all. And I know how intense I can go on me, and it's really listening to your body. Remember, fascial work is also detoxing. So we hold a lot of toxins in our tissue. So if we have a really high toxic load in our body, or we're really sensitive to detoxing, you might feel headaches and feel like you're going through a big detox. So if that happens to you, don't be worried. You want to drink a lot of water. Maybe just you're someone who can blast for a minute or two at a time, and you slowly have to build up. Again, this is listening to your body. We're all different. We're all really responsible for being owners of our body and honoring what it's telling us. If I just ignore it and something's really painful, I'm gonna probably not feel great after it, right? So we'll go side to side, up and down, all along. I really like, for me, right along the Achilles here is one of my favorite spots. So you'll find for you where you're feeling the most tight, the most, gosh, I feel a little crunchy in there. Might feel a little bit like Rice Krispies. And so you'll spend time on the area that you need to. So now I love the nuggets too. They're great. The Pro Nugget I have to order. So if you have the Pro Nugget, I would absolutely use it in here. But I have these nuggets. The one side is more pointy. The other is a little more dull. If you're new, probably wait to use the pointier side until you get more comfortable and you know how your body's going to react. So for the feet, I like, it's a little poke and wiggle. If you follow the toes all the way up, you can feel the tendons. And I like to go right in between that, all the way up, just a little poke and wiggle. And if you felt a certain place that felt just really lumpy, you can go back there and really pay attention to how the tissue feels as you fascia blast. So I like to go all the way up and then really get in deep here, right to, you'll feel that little hole in there and really get in there. And some of you probably wear high heels for work or going out and you just love it and you don't want to stop. That's fine. You just need extra foot love, okay? It's really not great for your feet. Same with those flip-flops. Anything that's really grippy. And you know, you might not notice it now because maybe you have no pain, you're feeling great, but a lot of fascial issues are really an accumulations of poor movement patterns, repetitive motion over time. So you're not necessarily gonna feel those heels right now. You might feel the effects of it, but you might be 2 years away, 10 or 15, but it could be 10 years of damage now you have to unwind and help out. And that's why I really love, and then I love to do it along the ankle as well. So you'll use this anywhere we went over that you felt like you needed some extra love. You can get back in there with the nugget. If you have the Pro Nugget, really get in there as well. Now we're gonna move on up to our thighs and hips. So again, you want a lot of oil. Sometimes in the middle of blasting, I'll even just add more. You want a really good glide. Now, when it comes to cellulite, I personally didn't love having the look of cellulite. I don't think most people do, but if you don't mind it, it's not a big deal. The only reason really Ashley and I care about cellulite is because it's a fascial problem. And if you have a fascial issue in your body, then your body's not functioning and moving optimally, right? We're supposed to really have healthy fascia throughout our body, and it helps us to move properly. So there's a lot of different tools you could be using for this. I'm going to start with the small claws. Use whatever you have. So let's use this one here. And you can sit here and do it here. When we get the back, you can do it this way. I personally, when I do upper thighs and hips, I love to put my foot up. I just feel like I get more leverage, but you can lie down and do it as well. So I typically start with up and down. I'm going to go right above the knee, all the way up to my hip. And this is part of the blasting we did for the pelvic floor too. The pelvic floor for women has 14 different muscles. It attaches at the pubic bone in the front, the tailbone in the back, and then sits bone to sits bone. And man, the whole body is so connected. I'm such a dork about it. But the pelvic floor, the feet are the base of our whole body. The pelvic floor is the base of our trunk. And the health of our feet and pelvic floor is going to impact everything, which is why I love footwork. I love pelvic floor work. Everything really helps fall into place. So I'm going to go up and down. I'm going to do glutes. I love the hamstring glutes tie in a lot. If you're worried about volume in the glutes, you might not want to fascia blast over the glutes. And I'll come under here. If you're using, say this one, just doesn't cover quite as much, but you can use a face blaster here. So if that's what you got, we use what we have. Inner thighs I love. So I'm just gonna go all the way, and then I'm gonna go side to side too, all along the body. I'll usually spend more time than I'm showing you unless I'm in a hurry. Side to side. And it feels great. And you get it up here. You might feel it more with the up and down strokes or the side to side. And certain areas you might feel more tender or lumpy, and other areas you don't feel it as much. Again, listen to your body. This is a great opportunity to learn where you might need some extra work. I would encourage all of you to look in the mirror today from your foot on up at your alignment. Are your feet straight? Are your arches healthy? Are your hips aligned? Do you have that posterior, the anterior pelvic tilt, a posterior one, or are your hips even? How's your posture? And really use that to help guide you for fascia blasting where you need some extra work. And then you can always join my programs as well. There's so much fascia blasting in there. Obviously the 90-day pelvic floor challenge is in there permanently. Full body, and it really goes hand in hand with the blasting and restoring, fascia and healthy movement patterns and posture. So many people do fitness for, so I'm going to move on to the bigger claws. For this one, I'm going to use this big guy just because it really saves time. If you've got the mini 2 or if you have one, you don't have to switch. So when I work out, my goal is to really have the best posture, have great movement patterns. So now I'm at a point where for me, it's maintaining a healthy pelvic floor, maintaining strong, high-functioning feet, a long spine, healthy shoulder mobility, good posture. And for a lot of people, it might be like they want great arms. But if you have healthy shoulder mobility, strong shoulders that function well, your arms are going to be great because you're going to be moving your arms and using your arms to get your shoulders really healthy. So I really look at fitness, to me, not so segmented, but a whole body approach, that it really is restoring proper movement patterns, proper posture. And then when you go out to play tennis or go for a hike or paddleboard or lift weights if that's your thing, that your body moves better as a unit. So you're gonna get more out of your workout. You're gonna be more efficient, have more energy, jump higher, run faster, recover better, and then really using the fascia blasting to, restore your fascia and help maintain healthy fascia, and then corrective movement to keep, good movement patterns once you instill those in your body. So many of us I sit sometimes way too much because I'm on the computer a lot. And so those are days that super important for me to fascia blast extra, to do my pelvic floor work, since sitting is horrible for our pelvic floor. Fascia blast, it's really important to understand. So side to side, you can see I'm just going all along the body, the hips, all over, side to side, up and down, and then we're gonna repeat everything on this other side. So hopefully you're following along with me, and you're just gonna get a good, quick, low body blast on both sides. Where did I put my oil? Here it is. And again, you can always just spend more time. So we're gonna start with that foot and calves. I just do lower, like below the knee together, and then I'll go above the knee. And you can do foot, lower leg, upper, but this is how I do it, which is why we're doing it this way together. And I'm wearing a sweatshirt because I am such a cold wimp that I get cold quite easily. So again, here on the foot, very light. We have so many nerves on the foot. I also really like getting along the side of the big toe. And that's where flip-flops and shoes you wear that go in between the toes are really not good. It makes you really grip here with the fascia underneath, but it also throws off that big toe. And our big toe and our toes are supposed to splay. So a lot of people's toes are kind of stuck together, and they're really designed to be able to splay and really spread to really grip and connect and absorb shock for us. So when they're not doing that, they're really not great shock absorbers. Same with if our arches are not, working well. And we have this big arch, but we actually have 3 arches in our foot. We have this one, which for a lot of people's collapsed. We have one here on this side, and then we have one under the toe pad here. And when I'll work with people, you'll often see that the one under the toes here, it's like collapsed and sunk a little bit. The fascia is amazing for the fascia blasters for that. Slant board exercises, fantastic to really help restore that arch as well. So we're just gonna go side to side, the side of the foot I love. I wanna share something with you about the feet, because I had in college the worst shin splints ever. I lived in Seattle, I went to the best PT who was doing all the Seahawks. They did, some very generic basic exercises, some treatment there, gave me orthotics. Well, it didn't go away. I completely overpronated, so rolled in. I had the worst shin splints. I loved running. I couldn't do it. I was very frustrated. I didn't know anything about the body like I know now. Fast forward to learning about fascia and movement and restorative exercises, and I started doing the slant board every single day. And within a month or less, my shin splints were gone. They've never come back. And instead of overpronating and rolling in, I was like a neutral runner. So now I buy neutral running shoes. So you can restore your feet. You can restore your entire body through movement and fascial work. And it doesn't have to be an hour every day. You can fascia blast a few minutes a day, and it's so powerful. Obviously, if you spend more time, you're gonna see, results even faster, but it is we're gonna do the ankle now, all along the Achilles. This is one of my favorite for a lot of you, all around the ankle. And in Chinese medicine, I don't know, some of you might not know this, but they'll say you can tell the health of a person from the health of their feet. And there is definitely a really strong correlation with foot health. If you look at reflexology, we had done a post that a lot of people really liked about different organs and different reflexology areas in the foot and trigger points, and it's really interesting. And the fascia blaster is just so powerful for your foot to really help open up the fascia in those areas and restore it and really help with just body functioning. It's amazing. And so you'll go side to side. I'm going to move on since I'm up here to, I hope I'm still connected. Hold on. It disconnected for a minute. I'm just coming up. Yeah. Okay. I'm here. Okay. So I will answer questions too. So if you have questions, go ahead and post them. I will answer throughout the day. I'll be checking. I'll check a little bit tomorrow. And I'm sure a lot of you have looked. Ashley has fantastic diagrams and posts some videos of fascia throughout our body. So if you look at fascia in the body and you take everything away but the fascia, it looks like a Spider-Man suit. I mean, it is abundant everywhere. And that's why I loved it for the pelvic floor program, is because we have 14 muscles in our pelvic floor as women, and they move laterally, side to side, front to back, circular, but they also move up and down. And what a lot of people don't know about the pelvic floor, and a lot of programs miss, is that nerves are abundant in the pelvic floor, and so is fascia. So when we have fascia that's bound and tight and misaligned, it can impede nerves. So maybe nerve function is suboptimal. You might be having low sensation. You might have no sensation. Those nerves are completely entrapped in unhealthy fascia. And so to me, fascia work and fascia blasting, I'm going to do forever. I know the value in it. My kids do. My daughter dances and she wants to sometime do point. I told her she's going to do point. She has to do the slant board, and she already does all the fascia blasting and she exercises with me. She just doesn't do the slant board. But really, the more you become aware of tools like the fascia blaster, like my programs, to restore your body and then maintain and fix things should they arise, the more powerful it is. You can really do so much with your body at home with the right tools without a lot of time. I don't work out for an hour every day. I'm not fascia blasting for an hour every day, but I do it consistently and regularly. And really, consistency is key here. You can't expect, if someone wanted to lose weight, you can't eat great for 1 week and then 3 months, you eat horribly inflammatory foods, way too much, and expect weight loss. But a lot of people expect that with fascial work or exercise. Well, I did it for 2 weeks and I didn't see a huge difference. Some people do, some don't. But it's really the being consistent with time and making it a habit. So listen, we are all so busy, right? I'm a single mom. I drive I have no family here. My kids are both in club sports. I run a business and I'm doing 30 jobs for my business. I'm super busy, and I know all of you are busy too. It's really where we do our priorities and making ourselves a priority. And to me, self-care, we're going to move on to upper legs, is imperative. It's a non-negotiable. And it's because many things. First, if you feel good and you take care of yourself, you're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. So I'm going to be more productive with work. I'm going to have more energy to hang out with the kids. I'm going to have more energy to have fun and do what I want to do. I'm going to also feel better because I'm going to have better alignment. I'm going to stand up for this. But again, you can do it down here on the ground. You can also lie back, and for thighs, lie back. You keep your arms straight and do this. So there's many positions you can get into for this. So when we move and have good, healthy fascia and good movement patterns, we have more energy to sustain us throughout the day. What a lot of people don't realize is poor posture is exhausting. When you're constantly like this or like this, your body's not functioning optimally. And to maintain a poor posture is very exhausting. When you really realign your body and have a good posture and good movement patterns, you have so much more energy throughout the day. We often too, when we feel better, we make better decisions. And I don't want to not be able to sit on the floor with my kids. I don't want to not be able to go on a long car trip and have back pain from it. So I feel so blessed, having the fascia blasters and being exposed to it and all of the exercises I do. I just have the best tools in my toolkit to take care of myself as I get older. And this year I'll be 46. And I feel amazing. I love being in my 40s. I know so much more, and I feel great, but I know it's from, eating healthy, nutritious food and really taking care of myself, taking care of my fascia and my body, and making exercise a priority. So if you find it hard, you can always follow us. It's iCore Method, and follow us on Instagram, follow us here. We have a private group for women. Tell us what you did for your workout. I love it when people check in. Put a schedule in your phone. So we schedule a dentist appointment. Why are you not scheduling your workout? Even if it's 15 minutes, why are you not scheduling your fascia blaster? Put in a 20-minute alarm, fascia blast, and do a quick workout, and you're done. Some days I'm super busy, and for me, I'm more of a morning person. If I don't work out in the morning and fascia blast, the less likely I am to do it. So sometimes I just set my alarm for just a little extra early, and I would love some extra sleep. And don't get me wrong, sleep is very important, but so is fascia work and exercise. So make sure you get sleep too, because that is very important. I am a more early to bed, early to rise, and I am not someone who's going to be skimping on my sleep. That's when we recover. So here, upper body, again, you can go all the way up here to the hips. Now, for you ladies who have had C-sections and anyone who's had abdominal surgery, you can blast along the scar, side to side, up and down. If you have diastasis recti, that's that separated abs, you're not going to want to do side to side. You're going to definitely want to fix that, and check out some videos I have in the programs for that. But often with incisions and surgery anywhere in the body, they'll cut into your fascia, right? So what's that going to create is scar tissue and adhesions. You might get lumps, it might be tender, it might be sensitive, there might be no sensation. And so the fascia blasters, and I have an article about the fascia blasting on the C-section scar too. And it's really powerful. So if you have bigger claws, I would move to bigger claws. And how are we doing on time? Okay, I'll be done in just a minute. So we'll go up and down, side to side. And if you have any questions for me at all, you can post in here. You can reach out to me. We will always respond to you. No question is too big, too small. Probably heard it. A lot of people get embarrassed to ask questions, but I've probably heard it before. And I really like this one because it's fast, but there's so many great tools, honestly, that Ashley has. There's just so many to pick from. So you're just gonna use what you have. What you can do too is create a blasting schedule and rotate maybe foot and lower legs one day, upper legs another, abs and back. You can rotate through that. We have in our programs like a blasting schedule for the pelvic floor and how to rotate, and a whole bunch of foot on up tutorials. And we're going to be adding a lot more because I love the tools. It's really an important element of fitness and total body wellness. Once you've experienced, I think, the tools and how powerful they are, you get hooked because you understand that it really makes structural change in your body. And that's what I like about them and the exercise I do. It's really creating structural change so we are a good mover, right? We feel good, our posture is good. And we're doing low body, but I do want to point out something about the upper body and our hip alignment as well before we go. So that's just what I do for lower body. So when we talk about our hip alignment, some people have that posterior pelvic tilt. They're here, their butt's really tucked in and flat. But more common is this anterior pelvic tilt, and the abs just pooch out that way. Look tight, lower back, lower abs, often just that poochy belly that won't go away. And then really that shortens the rear portion of the pelvic floor, lengthens, so our whole hip alignment is off. And we have so much fascia, 14 muscles in the pelvic floor. They attach at, the 4-point, the pubic bone, tailbone, and sits bone to sits bone. It's so important to do fascial work on the hips, the legs, the abdominals for the pelvic floor, right above the pubic bone, even down through the right inside. It's very, very important. And then when we talk about that upper body posture, it's all connected. So our poor posture up here might come from a pelvic floor issue. Those issues might come from our feet. So I really like, let's fix it all. It doesn't even matter where it started or what's going on. Like, let's just fix your whole body and your movement patterns. And that's how fascia blasting is. But if you think of that forward position with the head and those rounded shoulders, what's happening is now the fascia in our back is really lengthening and densifying, and then the fascia in the front is shortening. And now sometimes those people, you tell them to stand up straight and they actually can't because their fascia is so thick to support that posture, they literally can't stand up straight. And that's where I love corrective exercise, but fascia is so important too, because you really need manual fascia work to unlock that. So I am so glad that you joined me today. I would love to see you on my page. It's iCore Method across all platforms. We'll put the links. And then anyone who is on here, a fan of Ashley's, you can sign up for our programs at icoremethod.com/programs. And Ashley has an exclusive discount code for you guys. Put in Ashley Black as a promo code, all caps, and you'll get a discount to sign up for our programs. Like I said, Ashley's in there talking with me. We had some lives that are all recorded up in there. There's a ton of fascia blasting and more to come. Pelvic floor programs, foot, full body, everything is in there. Every month we add more content, so definitely join us in there. And I will come in and answer any questions you have. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been awesome. And I hope you follow me and so I can get to know you as well. And I hope to see you back in here as well, because I'm in a lot of Ashley's groups because I love fascia blasting. So have an amazing last day of January, and I will see you soon.